living here is not what it seems. Ship of white, light in the sky, nobody there to reason why. Here I am, I'm not really there, smiling faces ever so rare. Let's walk in deepest space, living here just isn't the place. Sparks of light come from the ground. When I cry, there isn't a sound. All my feelings cannot be held. I'm happy in my new strange world. Shades of green, grasses twine, girls drinking glass more wine. I look at love, a dream unfolds. Living here, you'll never grow old.
All right, welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast. Monte The Pharaoh, only seen here out of Tin Mirror Studios in Kings Park, Long Island.
Yes, sir.
Over from Florida, Jimmy. Show number 2. How'd you enjoy the Tonga Kid in studio? Good guy, right?
Oh, he's one of the best people we've come across in the business, period. You know, he's genuine. He's real. God, he's emotional. I thought I was emotional, right, Mike?
Yeah, no, you're right, Jimmy. Yeah,
Yeah.
I got to tell you, man, that entire family, it's just amazing. It's amazing what they've accomplished in this industry. But he's just a down to earth guy, man. I'm
Yeah.
kind of dig.
Yep.
You know, I've always digged him though, man. So.
Oh, yeah. You were a fan of his back in the day. Decades and decades that family has given us. Amazing.
Well, it gets even better, dude, because on
All right.
show number 2 on this Friday night, people are watching this before Netflix and Tyson versus Paul. We've got Miami's Sweet Heat from the Women's of Wrestling. Ladies, thank you for joining us today on this Friday night.
Thank you so much for having the 4-time Wild World Tag Team Champ.
4 times. Jimmy, 4 times. 4 times. Can you give it to him?
Four times. What am I, Booker T? What have you got me doing here? Right.
Ladies, we like to we like to open up with some news. We like to open up with a news item, and then Jimmy and yourselves.
No, wait. You like to open up with a news
yes,
item.
I do.
Okay,
we try to get into the world of news a little bit because we want to show a little intelligence out there to the crowd. We're just not about wrestling.
Oh, God help me. Go ahead.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
10-year-old girl walks alone for a mile away from her Georgia home, leading to the mother's arrest. The Georgia woman was arrested and accused of allegedly endangering her son, all because an unsupervised 10-year-old walked less than a mile away from home, officials said. Jimmy, thoughts on that? Do you think that's something that should be punishable because your kid walked alone?
Look, all I could do is answer from the time I grew up in, all right? And yes, because we're older, I'm talking about the 70s. I cannot tell you how many times as a 10-year-old I was allowed to go wherever the heck I wanted, just be back before the lamppost came on at night. So I can't really relate to this happening nowadays. If that's I don't know, what kind of area was it? Are we talking like, some really bad area? What are we talking?
I have no idea, Jimmy. I just propped the article out of the internet, so you're asking me way too many. I have to ask the younger crew, though, the women's tag team champions, what do you think? Do you think that children should walk alone nowadays for a mile and be punished?
Like you said, it's a different world than when we grew up, because when we grew up,
our parents would drop us off in the town, and we would just
we would walk.
we would just get dropped off.
Yeah, we would walk around town, and if you felt safe, and there wasn't these issues in the world like there is today. I think it's a different world, which is sad because, like I said, when we grew up, we would walk to the pool on our own. I don't think these days you can do that.
Well, what used to happen to me is my parents used to drop me off about 10 miles, and whenever I got back home, they'd be like, "Oh, he's back again. He made it home again." Like, I was like that rat.
Damn it!
We grew up in a small town, 800 people in Hooper, Nebraska.
Wait a minute. All right, all right, let's go. Nebraska. What is life in Nebraska like?
Simple.
We grew up on a farm. Our dad, he played for a short time in the NFL, and then he started teaching. So sports were big in our family. So all we really knew was to play basketball or run down the road. We did cross country, track, basketball. Like sports was pretty much our growing up. So there's not much else to do.
My dad worked at the high school. He was a teacher, shop teacher. So he had a key. So he would just let us. We would go almost every day, and he
would just open the gym up and we'd play basketball all day. It was.
So how many people were in your school? What was your graduating class?
We had 60 people in our graduating class. And get this, we had 3 sets of twins in that class. Identical.
All right.
Oh my God! Everybody knows everybody's business.
Wait, without being insulting, though. Seriously, like if you wanted a date for the prom, did you have to ask your cousin or something like that?
We didn't really date in high school because we had 2 older brothers who were amateur wrestlers, football players. So, and then my dad was at the high school. He told one guy that had a crush on me that he said, "You see that chainsaw? If you ask her on a date, you're gonna
boy."
Your balls are gonna be in that. They were scared to date Lori and I.
I was intimidated because our dad.
So we didn't really date night.
Mike, after further review, I think that they should have left that parent alone with the 10-year-old who walked a mile.
I think so. Under further review, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Listen, I got to tell you, after what you're experiencing now in life, could you imagine going back to Nebraska full time? Like I could kind of get moving to Nebraska from New York at this point.
It's interesting because we love to go visit, but the snow, it's like 6 months of the year you're stuck inside. Now we just went through 2 hurricanes here, so now I'm just like, maybe
I'd still rather.
We're dealing with flooding and drywall and flooring, so it's been
right. I went from New York.
Florida.
I went from New York to Panama City Beach, and I'm undergoing the same thing. It's like, well, there is the snow, but then the hurricanes came here.
Right. So, my aunt and uncle live in Panama City. My uncle retired Navy. Yeah.
Nice.
But I'd still rather be in Florida than.
Yeah, Nebraska. It just
there's not much to do.
Yeah, you gotta find things there.
Find things to
Here
do.
You can go to the beach. There's lots to do.
Ladies,
True.
Can you introduce that fine-looking young man next to you? Who is that gentleman?
This is Nigel Zane. You see him every week on Wow Superheroes.
There you go.
That's a pretty good job, Lance.
Yeah.
I love it. So
David McClain.
before we get into your guys' career and about wrestling and what a wonderful product Wow is putting out, big fight tonight. Tyson, Jake Paul, 3 of you. Which one are we going with?
Ladies first.
I'm a big Mike Tyson fan, just because old school, and I'm all for age is just a number, and you can still do this. What about you, Lori? We haven't really talked about this.
Same.
I've always been a fan.
Yeah, I'm kind of with. I think the comeback story, and that's a big market still yet to come. So I think Mike Tyson might walk away with the win tonight. What about you guys?
Jimmy?
Or either that, or they're going to do a push, right?
Keep the story
draw.
Keep it going.
Keep it going.
Jimmy, what are you thinking, buddy?
I've always been a Mike Tyson fan from back in the day. I used to get angry when people would try to diminish his greatness early on because who's he beating up? He's beating up everybody who's larger than him, taller than him, bigger than him in less than 2 minutes. He has the most powerful punch I've ever seen in my 57 years on this planet. And even though he's 57 years old, I'm hoping he breaks every rib and decapitates Fall. And that's my take on that. Now, Mike is about to rain on all of our parades. Go ahead, Mike.
I will. So I will. Thank you, Jimmy.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Time cannot be defeated. So at
Here we
57 years
go.
old, it doesn't
Here we
matter
go.
how tough you were in your 30s
bullshit.
or your 20s.
Oh, nonsense.
A 26-year-old. Well, Nigel, may I ask, how old are you, sir?
Me, I'm 37.
So you're 37, I'm 57, right?
Sure.
I would probably doubt, even at 57 years old, I could never. You probably would beat the shit out of me, regardless. Regardless. So yeah, I just think age is what it is, dude. It's over. You know, we're old. Two old guys.
Mike Tyson. We're talking about Mike Tyson. Oh, well, Mike Tyson's 57. Nobody told Mike. Mike doesn't care that he's 57.
Oh, Paul will tell Mike tonight, and that'll be
Yeah,
the
when
answer.
his ribs get hit by a 57-year-old, very angry Mike Tyson, we'll see.
So let's get to our guests. So, ladies, how do you guys get into professional wrestling? What makes you want to be like? Again, we're going to talk about your career in basketball and your athletics, but it's like, what makes you choose pro wrestling?
Well, growing up in Nebraska, we weren't immersed in the pro wrestling world a lot, but our brothers were amateur wrestlers, state champions in Nebraska. So we grew up around amateur wrestling. We finished college basketball. We did grad school, and Lori and I wanted to go explore. You know, we love the beach. We're like, we're going to move to Florida and see what happens. And, you know, Lori always wanted to fight too. And we were thinking about getting into MMA. And my dad was like, can you please pick something else? So our friend wrestled for one of AFA schools, AFA and Sika back in the day. And he's like, you guys would love pro wrestling. You should go, you know, watch a training session and see what you think. So we went and watched a training session, and we're like, oh yeah, this is awesome. The office school happened to be about an hour and a half.
Well, when you took the first bump, it wasn't awesome.
Yeah, that part. The first, but he signed me up. He signed me up, and it was like, oh, okay, we paid the money, we're gonna do this. The first day, I was like, oh hell, what do we? The Samoans, they you know, we drill bumping and cardio, and before we even got to start learning moves, and it was a year of just, you're going to learn how to bump and you're going to learn the basics. And but the Samoans, AFA was like, he's like family to us. He just passed away recently, actually, when we were in LA on a show day. So it was really tough that day. I remember Lori, she was in the makeup chair, and they had to redo our makeup a couple times, but we did feel that taping. He was with us the whole time. So I definitely think he's out there looking out for us. But back to our journey.
Yeah, and I'm glad we started with them, because, you know, you never, you know, there's not a bump that I'm not scared to take. You know, you're like, oh, we learned the basics from day one for months. So you just, becomes second nature. Whereas if you go to a school and it's not as much, you know, bumping, learning, you know, the fundamentals, I think it's harder, you know, if you're scared when you take a bump, it's
your risk of injury is a lot more. And yeah, I wasn't sure if I was going to like wrestling, but I ended up falling in love with it. And I remember Pops telling us, if, you know, you love this, you're going to eat, breathe, and sleep wrestling if you want to be good at it. And he was right. So we've kind of been doing that the last 7 years. It's been quite a journey.
Now, Nigel, how do you get involved in the pro wrestling game?
Well, so basically, I wanted to be in radio or television, and so I was an intern at the local radio station when I was 16, and there was a local show that came to town, a local wrestling show, and I gave them free plugs on the radio, which was a big thing back then. You know, we're talking 20 years ago now, and so they let me come and do an interview segment. And then after that, I got a phone call a couple months later from a local promoter, and he said, "You're a ring announcer, right?" And I said, yeah, I'm a ring announcer. That's right. And so I started at 16. But same thing with the Miami Sweet Heat, in the sense that I was lucky to have some mentors. And one of those mentors was the fabulous Moolah. And I bring that up because I work here at Women of Wrestling, and I am a big advocate for women's wrestling, and that's a big reason why. But she had the same advice: you got to live, eat, breathe, sleep the wrestling business. So so there's a common bond in that I think that we all share, in that we had a lot of old school mentorship early on in our careers. Yeah. But that's the how I got into it. I was a big fan growing up, and I just said, that's what I'm going to do. And I figured out a way to get into it.
Nice. Being that WOW is an upcoming promotion and many fans are just getting to know you guys, what is the difference to you between the WWE women's product, the AEW women's product, and most importantly, WOW's women's product in comparison to those two and yourselves?
Well, here's the thing. So I'll kick it off first, and then you ladies, feel free to add to it. But I think I know WOW is a very story-driven promotion. And our product, obviously, if you watch our television show, it really echoes that. And we're bringing larger than life, over the top type of characters. I think a lot of times when people try to compare us to other wrestling programs, so think about it like this, I guess. If you like caffeine, you might not like coffee. You might be a soda person. But it's still caffeine. You get what I'm saying? So it might not be your flavor, it might not be what you like, but it's still caffeine. Totally different experience altogether. But I think that's what makes WOW so unique, in the sense that those companies that you mentioned, and I love wrestling now because wrestling is just at a big peak. So many fantastic athletes and professional wrestlers, performers, whatever you want to call them, are out there. But I think that's kind of what gives WOW a special identity, in the sense that we are more about storytelling and presenting that over the top. If you like that about professional wrestling, and to me, that goes back to the golden years of the WWF, that style, then you're going to love our program. But, really with the addition of some of these great athletes that we've got, Miami Sweet Heat, upcoming, we've got Paola Mayfield from 90 Day Fiance, but a fantastic wrestler in and of herself, Santana Garrett, so on and so forth. We've got great athleticism, but the stories and the characters are the main focus. But I'll let them talk. I ran my mouth long enough.
I agree. And I think each season our wrestling, we've all been pushing each other, getting better, progressing. I think as a whole, every season, our wrestling just gets better and better. As far as WOW, we're, the only all women's promotion on national television. So I think that's huge for women.
Sure.
And, we have a little bit of every flavor for every type of, little girl growing up. They can see, there's a little bit of every different character, and,
they can relate to someone
on our roster, because we've got a pretty good variety and a lot of talent too.
And I'll bring this up too, just to wrap up the answer, but the focus, like the lady said here, is on the ladies. They're the opening match and the main event. So that also is a big thing, because unlike the other programs, and this is not a knock at all, the great athletes, but it's just simply that we're allowed to focus on just the ladies. And I think that makes all the difference in the world.
That's a great point, Nigel. Jimmy and I have a spot on ESPN. We do a wrestling spot on ESPN once a month, Jimmy. But today's conversation was that, is women's wrestling ready to have its own show? When we're talking about WWE, obviously WOW is a women's show. I don't think it's ever been better, women's wrestling. Do you agree? The talent that's out there, including you two ladies, it's incredible. I think there's so much room for women in this sport at this point.
Yeah, I think it's a great time for wrestling right now, and for a women's promotion. I mean, look how well, WOW is doing at this time. We consistently get a good viewership. I think as we grow and, have more, what would you say?
Well, we increase our viewership and visibility, I think, and the more the brand and product gets out there and people become familiar with it.
Like, we would like to, we hope in the future to branch out with WOW as far as live shows, so more people can get their eyes on us in a live event. Right now it's just the tapings that we do, which so then not as many people can get out there and see us live. Which,
for example, we were at a signing last weekend in Tampa at the convention center, and a fan came up and was like, "Oh my gosh, I was at the Vegas show," and he's like, "Wow, it's a good product. You guys can wrestle." I was like, "Yeah, see, we need to get out there and see wrestle live." The tapings have been really a good challenge for Lori and I. I think each season we've grown because every season they've presented us with new challenges, and it's just about growing and getting better. And the tapings were hard this year because we filmed a whole year in August, and so a lot of times you don't realize, you see it on TV, that's our third match of the night, so you're kind of getting the Red Bull in you because it's you got
a lot of Red Bull
in those tapes.
Well, here's good, Nigel. Good.
Yeah, I was going to say, just back to what your question was, though. Outside of all that, was that going back to the women's wrestling, and I think that as a historian of women's wrestling too, I'd love to see this in the sense that the people can say whatever they like, but the main reason that women's wrestling, had issue growing was it was a male-dominated sport. And some of the top wrestlers who are deceased now, but world champions, wouldn't defend their titles on shows where women were allowed to wrestle. So the fact that the world has opened up, people's minds have opened up, gives the chance for the ladies to go train at serious schools. Obviously, they train with AFA, but the level of athleticism and the seriousness that the women, their participation in the sport of wrestling, I think because of those things, absolutely, there's plenty of room for there to be more women's wrestling on TV always.
Well, so tough question to all three of you then. Look, as much as I loved Glow wrestling back in the day, which I did, are you trying to stay away from that kind of stigma that Glow kind of sent out, not so serious type of thing? Because again, you got to think about that, right? I understand women's wrestling is growing, and no one loves women's wrestling more than I do, trust me. But are you afraid to be put into that bucket?
Before they get to that, I just want to say this. Anytime David McLean, our boss, is asked about that, because obviously his involvement with Glow,
right?
He will say, Glow was then, WOW is now. We have sort of evolved from that sort of presentation. But with these ladies, I'll let you.
I agree with Nigel. Now, with WOW, we're focused on more the wrestling as well as the characters and the storylines, but keeping the wrestling up, not as much as that was more of a TV.
Yeah.
They didn't focus on
the wrestling.
Yeah,
I feel like the new WOW is focused on, let's make our wrestling the best we can be, and other people
bring a next level.
Yeah, they will respect WOW when they watch it now and be like, oh, those girls can wrestle.
And I think you'll see more competitive matches. You can go back. We've got a Pluto 24/7 streaming channel. You can go back and watch a couple of seasons. I think there's 104 episodes available on there, and then you can catch up and watch on this season, and you can see I don't want to, maybe evolution is a good word to use, but I don't mean to compare it, obviously to the evolution that happened years back, but you can see the evolution of WOW and how the athleticism, the just the quality of bell to bell action has really picked up. And that's a testament, going back, Mike, to what you were saying, as things have evolved, and we're starting to see a lot more of that.
Are you? Go ahead, Jimmy. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, well, Nigel, I was going to say it's more than fair to point back to evolution, because if it wasn't for evolution, I'm not so sure minds would have been opened up. So I believe that, when Ronda Rousey came to the WWE and Becky Lynch became a household name, pretty much becoming the man, that definitely opened a lot of eyes and ears. Listen, I got to be honest, I wasn't the biggest fan of women's wrestling. I'm a fan of it now, and I think that evolution helped pave the way for you guys. But what I really want to ask, how difficult is it with the studio when you film a season and then to balance trying to capitalize on it with live events? How difficult have you found that to be? Because after all, this is almost like, it's taped episodic television. And then you got to try to keep the live thing going. How are you finding that balance to be?
Well, so we filmed in August. We had, I believe it was 4 different filming where we were doing 10 matches a weekend, which was challenging, and we like the challenge. And then we had a couple weeks off, and we filmed a live event in Vegas. And I think going forward in the future, hopefully WOW's going to be seeing more live events. And it sounds like they're going to try and make the schedule a little easy to balance the tapings with the live events, kind of,
Right.
give our bodies
Right.
But in terms
Okay,
of
so let's-
that, Jimmy, like I was talking to these ladies before, and they trained with Matt Seidel, who is an AEW wrestler but lives
great wrestler,
in the Florida area, fantastic wrestler.
Yep.
And so when they're not wrestling on television or in those tapings, or if they don't have an independent date, these ladies are there at least 2-3 times a month to get that one-on-one with Matt, and which is, I think, definitely from my perspective as an announcer, has helped these ladies tremendously.
I think so. We transitioned after office school closed during after COVID. The school shows kept going on, so we had to find another place to train. We've been with Matt Seidel for a while now, and I feel like he's just elevated our level as far as he just, like we were talking last night. We trained with him, and Nigel was saying he's so detail oriented, and he'll notice things that just make a huge difference, like just in our lockups or simple basic things. But we've come a long ways with Matt, and I credit him to us progressing as wrestlers in the ring a lot.
That
and we
helps
also
you keep that rust off. Right?
Yeah, the rust in between the tapings.
And a lot of people don't realize watching WOW, like all of us characters, we have a career outside of WOW going at the same time. We have to balance, unlike most promotions. So all these women are really superheroes in real life too, balancing.
Absolutely. Okay, I'll hit you with this. So you have your regular life, right? And you're these stars on WOW. How do you keep that separated? I mean, you're both a physical therapist, correct?
Correct. And this is actually kind of a funny story. So I was doing yesterday, I work in home care, and I go to people's homes to do therapy. And
God.
My dad goes, "Oh, he was talking about it. He said, one day you're out walking with Lana Starr in Hollywood, and now you're back to, working at home care in therapy." And it's you just transition your worlds. But
this guy just pooped on me. Sorry, I had to.
Do you?
Wipe from Hollywood to
Yeah.
wipe.
Yeah. You'll be an overnight success, though. Don't you worry about that. They'll call you an overnight success. Don't worry about that. Oh boy.
And then we work all day, and then you gotta you're like, okay, I want to be the best tag team out there. I have to train. I have to go to the gym. I have to balance all of this. So Lori here, she'll be the one like, you want to be the best tag team in the world? We got to go to training. I don't care if you're tired.
Usually we're tired,
but she gets us there.
How about the name Miami Sweet Heat? Where does that come from when it's time to throw down?
Well, we love Florida, and we live in Florida.
Selena
Majors, who we love, we absolutely love her, is her favorite potato chip. It's a potato chip.
I know she was gonna use it before, and then it never happened.
She said, and then
let me rephrase that.
Nigel's too funny.
There's not a name. Don't go out looking for the potato chip called Miami Sweetie. It's just the name of the potato chip is Sweetie. But these girls love Florida and Miami.
Part of it.
Yeah.
Hey,
I just didn't want Jimmy.
I don't mean to interrupt you guys. Do you guys want to take a quick? Oh, forget it. Marty Jannetty's calling. I was gonna put you on the phone with Marty Jannetty. He's just bothering me on a Friday night. Go ahead, ladies. I'm sorry.
The Marty part.
Hey, Mike. How are you guys doing out there? I figured I'd chime in. There's Marty Jannetty. All right.
I got to understand how you guys turn it off and on like that, right? I mean, you're working a full-time job. You're a star wrestler. How do you keep a personal life? How do you keep your balance?
What personal life? No, we again kind of right now we're in grind mode. We're also starting a fitness company. We just launched the L&L Fitness app. It's on Apple and Android. So we've been working hard on that. And we're going to do private pay fitness classes for elderly. So we've got a lot of projects going on.
After after working in the healthcare field for 12 years, our main passion now is keeping people out of the healthcare field, because with the way insurance is, these people don't get the therapy that they need, because we may go to the home and they get 6 visits, which isn't enough. So preventative is the key, really, to staying out of the system.
Yeah.
And so we're passionate about helping the elderly get started on their fitness earlier and staying with it, and accountability by doing the Zoom calls we thought was the best way.
But also by you guys having your own business, it allows you to be able to fit all these different things into your schedule, I think, from what you all were telling me. And it's more conducive. If you work for yourself, it's easy to take off when it's time to go wrestle, right?
Yes, we definitely want to go more online. That's the goal, so we can be more available for wrestling whenever we want.
Well, and also as this thing grows, which it will, it's going to probably become more increasingly difficult for you, right? So it's going to. Now, let me ask you this: you guys are around each other all day. How do you survive that? Don't you want to beat the shit out of each other at some point?
Okay.
Wrestling ring.
Yeah, that's why we go train. No, we take our breaks.
We have actually, not for nothing, we have a ring in our porch. So if I ever get mad at Nigel or Lindsay, I can just take them out to the back porch and give them a body slam or something.
You ate my favorite bag of potato chips. Come here.
My name was on that bag. What are you doing?
Unbelievable.
When we were little, even my mom and dad said we fought over food. That was the main thing. Yeah, you eat my
potato chips. Look, you guys both have undeniable chemistry in the ring. I mean, what is it that makes that happen? Could it be that you've known each other so long?
I don't know, because in real life we're not on the same page.
We're totally on the in real life opposite page. And we're total opposites. Best friends are completely opposite. But in the ring, I think because we trained so much, we were really, we're trying to get better every season. And, when we first started, it really wasn't natural for us. We're athletic and we're athletes, but
I think because, we didn't grow up watching it, and then we came into the sport a little bit later. So, learning the psychology and stuff was a little more difficult. But every year I feel like we get better and better.
Yeah, and even now, we study our matches. We study old school wrestling. We watch a lot of wrestling in this house. So,
so as ladies, what is your benchmark then? Obviously, you watch other women wrestle, and you want to be the best, which you're damn well getting close to. What's your benchmark? Who's that person that you're like, this is the one? When I get to this level, I know I've hit it.
Do you want to go ahead?
Go ahead.
We're both Rhea Ripley fans. We met her at office school, and
a long time ago,
like 6 years ago. She showed us how to take our first arm drag and drop Toho, and she was so kind to me and Lori, and we're just big Rhea Ripley fans. I think she's one of the best wrestlers in the world. Her and Charlotte, I think those are the top benchmarks.
Are you blown away at the way she's changed physically over the years? I mean, if you said you met her 6 years ago, she's changed quite a bit. You guys are blown away by this.
Yeah, you can her physique speaks for her work ethic for sure. Yeah, she looks great.
And I think for us, like, we're just kind of going, like, we're just trying to get better every day and see where it takes us.
Nigel, what about you? Good, Jimmy. 1 second. Nigel, what about you? Did you at one point? Obviously, you got a great voice. Did you want to be a wrestler?
I did. I did want to be a wrestler, and I also wrestled. I probably haven't wrestled in a couple of years now because I'd broken my leg unrelated to wrestling, and took some time off to heal from that. But yeah, no, I loved wrestling, and I'm 5'9", so I was very realistic about it. I said the voice is the more marketable thing, but anytime I had an opportunity to go do matches, I realized that not going to be the biggest guy on the show, but if I can entertain the people, and that's what I really love to do. So yes, I love wrestling, and for my money, in terms of wrestling, I'm a total. I've always was a Ric Flair fan, as terms of an entertainer, and so it's great to see Charlotte Flair. I think obviously Moolah will always be my number one. Well, be my number one, but I think Charlotte is got a great argument up there at the top, just of all time. What a phenomenal athlete. But of course, you talk about some of the great athletes at WOW, and you talk about just our world's champion, the Beast, quite the athlete. I know you gentlemen have seen her in action, and she is a phenomenon. So we've got a lot of great wrestlers. If you're talking about other places, yes, but here at WOW too, we've got quite the growing list of excellent talent.
Well, here's a question for you, though. So when you guys first started off, I know that you tried to bring in a name like a Tessa Blanchard, and then AJ Lee was doing some announcing and stuff. But I've seen you guys have grown kind of past that, right? You're kind of living on the stars you have now. Is that what you eventually wanted to happen?
I think that, it's always nice to have an AJ Lee or somebody like that on the roster. But yes, I think creating new stars, new faces. They have the WOW training facility in believe it's around the Los Angeles area, near LAX, somewhere around there. But there's a nice training center, and they create stars there. And some, WOW might get a rap of, well, they will do casting calls or things like that. But you would be amazed at the athletes that come through there and the amount of work ethic they put in there. So it's very unique. It's a unique combination because we have ladies that are from like AFA's school, and then you have ladies that are from the WOW training school, and it's like a nice big melting pot,
You ladies mentioned that you hit the old school tapes, that you review a lot of the old school ladies wrestlers. Now, obviously, you've already mentioned that Moolah is obviously, a hero, and you've studied her. Is there anybody else from the past that you would say has been an inspiration towards your particular styles from the old days?
I think a big icon is Trish Stratus, and we got to meet her last Saturday at the signing we were at, and she was absolutely so nice to Lori and I, and she spent probably 5-10 minutes talking to us at our WOW booth and took a picture by the WOW booth, and she was like, keep going. And I think she was, huge in women's wrestling and the evolution of getting women's wrestling started. Of course, I love Moolah too. Judy Martin, we're huge fans. We're Facebook friends with her, and she's always messaged us like, watch these matches, and she's a great heel to watch. We love Judy. So those are some of our favorites.
Jimmy, you could see the dedication in these ladies, the names they're pulling out, and what
the name dropping that's going on.
You could tell.
Yeah,
ladies.
Judy Martin, Susan Green, we're friends with her. We love
Susan Green. There you go.
She's actually got thanks.
She got it.
We want to go out there and train with her when we can get a chance.
Yeah, I recently saw her at the gathering in August, and she still has an aura. She walks through a room like, what the Clint Eastwood. I'm like, oh my God, what's going on here?
Yeah,
I agree.
I love her. Yeah, she's always supporting us and telling us to keep going, and those are our ladies.
They don't come any tougher than Susan Green, so I can't wait. Yeah. I got to get a tape of these two in the ring with Susan.
You ain't kidding. Wow. Unbelievable.
Judy Martin. Oh, Judy can probably still. Oh, she can still throw down.
I'm not fighting Judy Martin. Forget about it.
Off script, I got to ask these three right now. Give me your top 5 women's wrestlers of all time.
Oh.
Top 5 women's wrestlers
of all time. All time.
You're putting them on a monument here.
I'll let Nigel answer that one because he's been our.
Okay, fine.
I'll go then.
I think he's
of all time. We're just so you're.
Doesn't matter when, Nigel. Your all-time list doesn't matter.
Well, then I would simply just say, probably Mildred Burke.
Wow.
Probably the fabulous Moolah. I'm just thinking of major impact. Trish Stratus and Charlotte Flair, if you really want to have a nice
Charlotte, absolutely. Yeah.
Honorable mention, sensational Sherry Martel, because to me, she changed the business.
Absolutely.
I'll let these two tell you their favorite.
The Glamour Girls.
Nice.
Sherry Martel.
I love it.
Moolah. Mildred Burke.
I think that's right. It's hard.
There's so many, it's really hard to narrow it down. That just, it created the women's, wrestling evolution and got us on the map to start. we wouldn't be doing what we do without those
Without
ladies.
them,
You know,
they wouldn't have paved the way for us.
and I
We
can't
wouldn't be
imagine
here.
how hard it was for them. You know, in a men's sport dominated to, you know, so it's,
They were all just badass.
yeah, all the respect in the world. You know, so.
Ladies, what is your greatest feud so far in WoW?
Oh gosh, we've had so many, but my favorite was the truckers, the mother truckers. We're still going with them, but now we have Holly. So
she, of course, wants to be
she
part
wanted
of
to be part of the fabulous life.
I'm sorry, but the Mother Truckers is one of the greatest names I have ever heard in my life. I love that.
My uncle, that's his favorite.
Actually named after a chip.
That's terrible, Nigel. Bad joke. You're punished. Go in the corner. Damn you,
Mike. I was wondering though, which bald head is shaped better, yours or Nigel's?
Nigel's by far, absolutely.
Nigel, what do you think of Monty's bald shaped head compared to yours?
Listen, I love it.
Thank you,
but,
There you go, Mike.
but you got to get one of those pit bull. That's what I use.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Pit bull head shaver. It'll change your life if you don't have one of those.
I might have to try that.
I tried it once in my life, but I looked like a weeble, pretty much. It was terrible. It just didn't work out. More importantly, though, what is the ultimate goal for Miami Sweet Heat in WoW and beyond?
So we're the four-time WoW World Tag.
4 times.
As far as, you know, you never know. I think a goal would be to become the world champions at some time, you know, branch out there and do some individual matches for WoW. And,
Just
you know,
keep winning.
just keep winning and keep growing as a tag team. We want to be recognized as one of the top tag teams in women's wrestling.
Right now, we're just, you know, growing and with WoW, and that's our goal, just to keep getting better.
Keep raising the bar and getting better as a tag team. So,
and I think the better we get individually, the better we'll be as a tag team, and the better WoW will be overall. You know,
Since Marty Jannetty called, I asked you this question. Lindsay, do you think you'd throw Lori through a glass plate window to become a single star and leave her to nothingness?
I'll have
nice.
to watch WoW this season and see what happens.
I think I'm a lot tougher though.
Wow.
On a serious note, I love your guys' show. When it was brought to my attention, I could get you on. Hey, on the first show, you had mentioned you hurt your back and stuff like that. And one thing I wanted to share with you, dude, is see this wallet?
Yeah. You mean like? Wait, hold on. You mean like this big lumpy one that I sit on?
Yeah. Pull that thing out,
dude. This thing's the fucking eyesore of the world. Everything is. Where's the camera? See, I'm just like you. Look at this. It's got like hair things sticking out of it because it's so old and withered. And everything I put into it, watch what I could do with it. Hey,
exactly. It's flimsy.
Everything falls the fuck out. Now, this is my fault, by the way, because I can't seem to find a decent wallet. Do you have any tips?
Well, it's funny you brought that up, man. Ridiculous. And this is why we've got back problems. So for old men like us, and even for young people, I ran into this company called Ridge, right?
Okay.
Ridge.
I like the name.
RIDGE, right?
Yeah.
Look at this wallet, right? Carries everything you need. Right? And look at this. It's compact. And just like this, you push down, you fan it out. You need a credit card. I got to pay for something. Just that easy. I go pay it. Boom. Put it right back in. And guess what?
You can just flip out and have multiple choice that easy?
That easy. Look how easy this is. And you know how stupid I am. You see how easy that was to fan out just like that, man? Yeah. Look at that, dude.
I'm stupider, but yeah, I get it. Okay.
And then you got
the
cash right on the back here. And guys, look, this episode is sponsored by Ridge. And if you use the promo code YouTube10, that's YouTube 10, you receive 10% off any Ridge product. Guys, I'm telling you, man, Look at the difference. Look at the difference. You've got to use Ridge. Monte and the Pharaoh are telling you, please support Monte the Pharaoh. And guess what? They've got other cool stuff because I'm an asshole. I just dropped it. Hold on.
It's all the way over there.
Only Monte will do this, folks. They
Wait,
also sell.
How's your back? You okay picking that thing up?
Well, since I've been using Ridge, my back is like 100% better.
Right.
Also, dude, check this out. From Ridge, I ordered this. Right, I know you're recently married, right?
Yeah.
24-karat gold-plated ring. Look how beautiful that thing is. Right, Ridge.com. Again, use YouTube 10 to receive 10% off. And guess what? If you're a working man and you're working with electric, you don't want to be using gold. You want to burn yourself. They also come with a nice rubber ring that you can wear.
They got those.
We all know the wives. That's
nice.
right. And the wives don't want to, they get pissed off if you stop using their shit, right? Or showing you married because it's some hot girl. She doesn't see you married. She's jumping all over your shit. Especially if you're using the Ridge wallet, dude.
Nice.
Look at that. Look how thin that thing is, Jimmy.
Does it come in different colors and stuff? I mean,
you know what? You're brilliant. And guess what they just came out with? NFL team Ridges.
Ooh.
So if you're a Jet fan and you want to show your Jet color, or you're a Yankee fan, you can wear your Yankee fan Ridge.
Okay.
So anyway, I recommend that. And
very nice. Well,
thank you to
Ridge.
Thank you to Ridge. I agree.
Thank you very much.
But in case you don't catch us on that, we're on Pluto, streaming 24/7, or you can check out our YouTube page, Instagram, Facebook, and we've got live up to the date videos and things like that. Everybody can check.
Now, is there a way also you could see some like separate material? Also, is there any kind of pay site, or is that something in the future where you can maybe get like special matches or special interviews, things like that?
No, actually, right now the best way to do that is just to @Wow Superheroes, and it'll take you to our Instagram page. Like I said, our YouTube page is under the same name. And so we put all of our exclusive content. Now, in terms of what's coming up in the future, I'm not really, sure about that. But it's all out there for free for everybody to enjoy. And again, the Pluto TV, it's a streaming 24/7 channel. So you can always go back and check that out anytime. We're also on Vice TV.
Yeah, so that's where I watch a show on Vice TV, which I love, right? Will you guys ever be coming up to New York? I have not seen you guys up here in New York at all.
In terms of on television or just making an appearance?
Just making appearance, maybe, I know you're talking about live events, hopefully at some point, but.
Yeah, it's something that I don't think any three of us could speak to with, absolute, but I know that that's on the drawing board to get out and make the rounds to more places like that. And we're definitely love to hit the East Coast and New York, especially.
Well, we're asking our fans right now to please support WOW. This is a really exciting venture, which if you're wrestling fans, it's a must-watch. And, Miami Sweet Heat, you guys are the best. Nigel, pleasure meeting you, sir. Thank you so much.
You guys are awesome.
You guys are awesome. We wish you guys the best. We're full support of you guys, and thank you again. I appreciate it.
Thanks so much for your support, guys.
Be well.
Really
God bless.
Guys.
Go Tyson. Jimmy. How you doing, buddy? What do you think?
Good.
Hi, sorry about that. Then I just had to jump in.
It's okay. It's no problem.
Yeah, that game just got too much.
Sorry about that. I didn't mean to put them on a spot.
Okay.
I wasn't trying to put them on a spot.
No, it's okay. I just,
I got you.
WOW stuff, we just want to make sure that,
No, I got you. It's all good.
Got to protect everything. But thank you guys so much.
All right, thank you. Talk soon.
Have a good one.
All right now. Jimmy.
Yo.
They were fantastic, right?
Yeah, they were great. They were very cool. Very cool people.
I guess I shouldn't have played that game, though, right?
Hey, man. I didn't realize. I mean, can I talk freely right now or no?
Well, kind of maybe. I don't know.
Kind of maybe. You probably know what I'm thinking. Hold on. Wait, let me think at you real hard. What do you think I'm thinking right now?
I'm thinking. Well, here's the reality, dude. It is a it's a syndicated show, right? And they do represent the show, and you don't want to, in today's society, you don't want them doing something off color. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, in our defense,
To be honest with you, I think it was the Elephant Man picture. To be honest with you.
Do you think so?
Yeah, probably.
I can't see the picture, so I don't. Why? What picture did you show?
It was a
of the
picture.
elephant?
It was a picture of the Elephant Man. It wasn't anything
okay.
weird or anything like that.
Okay. Well, if it makes anybody feel any better, it wasn't like we were going to have anybody like Trump on the list. We weren't going to go there. So,
well, you know what? They probably didn't know if that was coming or not. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it wasn't,
no,
by the way.
No,
well,
he wasn't on the list.
I got to tell you though, Jimmy, I don't know how much you watch WoW, but I do.
Right.
And I got to tell you, they're really good. And here's the thing. I was thinking about this when we were speaking to him, right? Because it's like, I don't know. I can only assume that maybe someone's ultimate goal would be in the WWE. Maybe. I don't know. But
well, you would think.
But how do you present that when they're presenting a product like WoW, right? Because it's like, I want to eventually be WWE champion. You know, well, that's a tough fit, right?
That's a challenge to the promotion, the people who are owning and running the promotion themselves. Obviously, that's a challenge. It's also like, what I found interesting earlier in the show when you asked about, bigger names coming in, like AJ Lee was there for a cup of coffee or whoever.
Well, it was smart business by them, right? Because they had to get off the ground. You had to bring in a name.
But at the same time, though, I like the fact that they're currently pushing their people.
No, absolutely.
Because you don't want it to turn into a Tony Khan situation where as WoW grows, then all of a sudden, look, here's so-and-so, here's so-and-so. I think that if they're able to balance, the studio tapings with live cohesiveness where the audience they got to get to the point, to me, where the audience can see an episode and they happen to be out live also doing a live event bouncing off such said episodes. They're like a payoff live appearance. You know what I mean? They got to do something like that.
Well, you know what? This is actually tougher than AEW. I was thinking about that too, right? Because AEW is bringing in other stars, right, from other areas that people already know in the industry. These are like all homegrown talent.
Right, which I happen to like. So to me, it's really about how they take off and how they go about balancing as they get bigger, if they're able to pull that off. It's very delicate. But I also like the fact that it is only women,
Yeah.
How's that coming out of my mouth? You know what I mean?
That is a little surprising, Jimmy, to be honest with you.
Well, that's what's separating them right now. Run with it, grow it, and grow your own stars. Don't rely on other big stars from other companies. Don't do what Tony Khan is doing. Don't do that, because Tony Khan is overloading it. Don't do that. By the way,
I love that guy Nigel's voice. That dude's pretty cool sound.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Absolutely.
I didn't know he wrestled, though. I didn't know enough that he had wrestled in the past, but he definitely has a good voice for it. So if he's doing the announcing, they've got a good announcing team.
They seem to be in good hands, especially with the tag team division, obviously. The Mother Truckers on top of that. What a name.
Well, you know what it is? Like for a fan like me, when I turn it on, it's on very late here in New York. So
I would love that.
My early hours, right? So for work. So it's like when I catch it, I'm watching, but I'm just. It's hard to learn all the stars, right? Because you're just watching at some point. But I think it's got the legs to grow. Honestly, The talent is there. It seems good. Again, I like the fact that they say they're built around storylines too, because for me, you know how I feel.
Yep.
Storylines much more important.
We caught a lot of old school vibe here, didn't we?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, from them, all of them, and the fact that storylines are important to them will definitely do nothing but enhance it in the eyes of the wrestling fan. You got to give us a good storyline. You can flop around or beat the crap out of each other all day, but if you don't have a great storyline with a payoff and getting invested in the characters, and they're all their own characters over there. So if you got you're building your own characters and you're writing good storylines, you got a shot. And they're also on cable. They're on a channel.
Well, the one thing also that you've learned too is never show a picture of the elephant.
I don't know if it was the Elephant Man. I think it was the concept of the game, and I think once again, it's not for everybody. And in this case, it is what it is.
Nah, it was a fun game. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I was enjoying the hell out of it, to tell you the truth. You want to finish the game?
No, no, I don't.
We can ask Gabe. Oh, look at you all bummed now. I shouldn't have done the game. Fuck it, let's
I'm
get
not
Gabe.
bummed, dude. You know me
Gabe,
better than that.
Gabe, what
I'm
do you
not
think
bummed.
about Gabe? What do you think about? I'm calling him Gabe. What is this, last Friday?
I'm not bummed about him. I just don't want to put them in a spot, right? I wasn't.
No, I
trying,
know. I got you.
You know what I mean?
Totally agree.
We don't try to put people in a spot. I wasn't. I
No.
thought it was a fun
No,
game,
there
but
was
I
no
totally
intention
get
of
it,
that.
though. I totally get it.
Me too. I got you.
Especially when you're screaming that I put up a picture of the.
For what?
You were like,
I missed it.
You're like, oh, what the hell? The elephant man. Come on, man.
Mike, you're mean. That is mean.
Here he is. Look, he's got him up.
I can't see him, but I love John Merrick. You leave that poor guy alone.
That was a great,
he went through.
Great movie. Great movie.
It was.
Anyway,
It was
they were fantastic.
masterpiece.
They were fantastic, and I think they're going to do really well. And if we ever wanted a job at WoW, I think we just blew it. But what are you going to do?
Way to go there, Mike.
Way to go. Another federation that's not taking
Way to go
on
there.
Monte the
And on
Pharaoh.
top of it all, you stand there.
You stand there.
You we're not going to tell the William Shatner story?
Before you go,
what do we-
tell everybody the William Shatner story.
All right. So we're at the big event, and of course we got a table with Simsy and everything, and we noticed nearby William Shatner's going to be signing. So Mike and I are lifelong Star Trek fans. It's our favorite fucking show. I was like, okay. Well, Mike's like, we got to meet Shatner. I'm like, oh, you don't got to ask me twice. We get up there. Mike pays the fee. But I'm noticing Shatner's not at the table yet, but they're charging people. So we get on the line. The line's not that long. It wasn't really that long. It wasn't that bad at all. But we're standing there. And finally, I turn to Mike and I go, Harley Race. And he goes, what? And I said, you remember that time we stood on Harley Race's line for like an hour because he was in the bathroom? I said, Shatner's in the shitter. Mike starts laughing. Well, eventually, after almost an hour of standing there looking at a blank table, someone finally came over and confirmed that Shatner was in the shitter. So, so Shatner finally shows up, sits down. We finally get up there to meet him. We walk up. It's the great Captain Kirk, right, Mike? I mean, my God, you know?
Hello.
And he basically just looked at us and goes, you stand there. You there.
I'm taking. Well, it was live, but on the repeat, I'm taking it off for you. Don't worry about it.
Oh my God.
Well,
Ay, ay, ay.
But it's okay. I'll cut it once it.
Well, anyway. Yeah, we got that boy. You got to love live TV, right, folks? So Shatner's like, you stand there. You there. So we can take the picture. That's it. Snap the picture. Shatner doesn't even talk to anybody. He doesn't say hello, doesn't say goodbye, doesn't say anything. And we spent 45 minutes so Shatner could basically tell us where to stand. And off we went. 20 minutes later, I turn around. Shatner's done with the line. He's gone. Probably back to the shitter. But, yeah, sorry, Mike. I was like, what's going on there? You're taking a phone call live. And
No, I'm sorry. I had to talk to the agent about the show.
Jesus, God. You troublemaker.
It's business. It's business, brother.
That's it. At the end of the day. But the Shatner experience was very, very heartwarming for you, too, I'm assuming.
Well, the way I think about it this way, man, is like, be careful, like they say, be careful if you meet your heroes, right?
Right.
And then some cases, like with Hogan or Kevin Von Erich, it was great. And with Ric Flair and William Shatner, not so great, right?
Why are you so? I thought Flair was fine. I didn't have any problems with
I just
Flair.
thought, you know what I mean? I think when people visit, you should give them a little bit of time. That's all.
Right.
I mean, we'll talk about it next week, but we'll talk about some things that did bother me about some guys not getting out of their chair and yada. Well, dude, I honestly feel, some of these people that are there save their money for a year to go to the event. I think it's a responsibility of anybody who's doing a signing to give their best effort to every fan, no matter how tired they are. Now, obviously, a gentleman like Flair, who's in his late 70s or whatever else it is, get it, right? Could understand certain things. But, I think there's a responsibility there, and
Yeah.
I feel comfortable enough that I should have the right to say something about that because I find it disappointing. You know what I mean? That's all.
I totally agree.
Like I
totally
understand
agree.
Bill Shatner's 90 years old, however fucking old he is. You know,
Right.
you're afraid of COVID. Totally get it. Don't do a signing, bro.
Right.
Just don't do it. Stay
Right.
home with your $1 million and don't do it. Because I got to tell you, our experience was fucking awful. It was.
Yeah.
It was. Here, I should have just gave the guy money and said, throw it in your bank because you didn't even. You know, you talked.
Right.
You didn't even. You said 5 words to us.
Right. You stand there. You stand there.
That's
we
it.
Took the picture.
Took a picture.
And it
Get
wasn't
the fuck
even
out of
hello.
here. Nothing.
Hello or goodbye. It was nothing.
Nothing.
And his mouth's not broken. By the way, he moves around very well for a 93-year-old man. He moves around well. He doesn't need a walker. He doesn't need somebody to help him. He sat down behind the chair and basically was like, shoop, next, shoop, next, shoop, next, you know. So, yeah, disappointing considering that's my favorite show and Kirk is probably my favorite character ever. But I'm over it already, whatever, you know. It is what it is.
All right, well, let's call it a night. Let everybody go. We want to thank, first of all, the Tonga Kid in the first interview. Incredible gentleman, wonderful guy. We want to thank Miami's Sweet Heat from WOW Women's Wrestling, along with Nigel. Great voice. WOW's got a great future. Thanks again for joining us. And Jimmy, I want to thank you for joining us. And, of course, we want to thank Abe for being here on this Friday night. Thanks, man. Send us out.
You've been watching Monte and the Pharaoh, and until next week, later.